Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 215 days left the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky informed that the situation on the front line is particularly tough in the Donetsk region. He stressed that Ukrainian forces are doing everything to curb enemy activity. Zelensky pointed out that despite the obvious senselessness of the war for Russia, the command of the Russian military still drives its soldiers to their death. Quote, constant attempts of the Russian offensive in the Donetsk region will surely go down in the history of wars as one of the most cynical murders of one's own soldiers, unquote. The president is sure that the Russian authorities have already understood that they will lose and they are simply trying to delay this moment. He believes that it's important for every citizen of Russia to recognize that his own state is depriving him of the most important thing, the right to life. Volodymyr Zelensky said that the project on the establishment of a special international tribunal to punish Russia for the crime of aggression against Ukraine was presented to the ambassadors of 30 states. The president emphasized that the difficulty of prosecuting Russia for this crime is that the existing international legal instruments are not enough. That is why a special international tribunal is needed. The UK announced a new package of sanctions in response to fake referendums held by Russia in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to the British government, sanctions target top Russian officials and Putin's favorite PR agency IMA Consulting. The sanctions also hit oligarchs with a global net worth totaling £6.3 billion and board executives from major state-owned banks. Overall, 94 individuals and entities, including 33 people directly involved in the organization of the referenda, were sanctioned. In particular, Yevhen Balitsky, the Russian installed as head of the so-called government in the Zaporizhia region of Ukraine. As of today, the UK has sanctioned over 1,200 individuals and over 120 entities, including over 120 oligarchs with an estimated combined global net worth of over £130 billion, according to the government's press release. Representatives of the parties of the US Congress during the negotiations on Monday agreed to allocate almost $20 billion in aid for Ukraine in the budget for the next fiscal year 2023. The next fiscal year in the US starts on October 1st, reports European Pravda. The Congress has until midnight on Friday to adopt a new budget, otherwise a shutdown is announced in the country. State institutions stop working until the adoption of the law on the budget. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that Russian forces continue efforts to advance in the Donetsk region, reports Union. The Russian authorities closed the occupied part of the Kherson region for entry and exit. Russia launched a series of attacks against Ukrainian cities. 7 people were killed as a result of a missile attack on the town of Pervomaiske in Kharkiv region, reports LBUA. Among the victims was a 15-year-old child. Another attack was conducted against the airport of the city of Kryvyi Rih in Dnipropetrovsk region, central Ukraine, reports Ukrinform. According to the head of the local administration, Valentin Reznichenko, a Russian Ha-59 missile destroyed the airport's infrastructure. People were not injured during the attack, but further use of the airport and its equipment is impossible. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said that President Recep Erdogan will continue contacts with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin to organize their negotiations to achieve peace, reports Interfax Ukraine. He stressed that it's important for this decision to be made at the level of the leaders. Cavusoglu added that the peace should be just, especially for Ukraine. The occupied territories are the territory of Ukraine. Time magazine dedicated the cover and extensive material to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Valery Zaluzhny, reports Ukrainska Pravda. In an interview, Zaluzhny told the story of how he became Commander-in-Chief and the tactic of Ukrainian forces used to defend Kyiv at early stages of the war. He expressed the opinion that Ukraine's interim victories will be only a respite in the struggle. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.